Welcome back to our Rendezvous and Proximity Operations video series, where we're going through each of the different sequences that have been introduced for RPO work. And now we're going to look at the Update Spacecraft Parameter sequence. Let me move this over so you can see I have it there, Update Spacecraft Parameters. We're going to talk about what it does and how it works. So this sequence, it updates some of the important spacecraft parameters that are relevant to kind of this RPO work that we're doing. And it does it in kind of a way that the ways that are convenient for our RPO work. And so these include things like drag and solar radiation pressure. And so if you look in here in the segment, the properties for the segment, you have all the different things that it can modify. And either they're set to false or true. So if you set it to true, it's going to modify that to the value that you set. This is very similar to the regular update segment, but these ones are those that are of particular interest in these rendezvous and proximity operations situations. And these, as we modify these parameters, they cause differential forces to occur if they're not the same as the target vehicle. And so that's kind of what we want to illustrate here. And so in this case, we have everything set to false, so it's not going to modify anything except for the modify SRP area parameter. It's set to true, so it's going to change that SRP area. And if we were to look at the initial state earlier in the MCS, we would see that it's initially set to 20 meters squared for the SRP area, and we're changing it to 200 meters squared, which is pretty significant. And so let me just go ahead and run this, and we'll take a look at the beginning of the update spacecraft parameters sequence, set our animation time there, and then we'll go ahead and make sure that we're zoomed to this particular satellite in the 3D graphics, and go ahead and maximize this guy. And so you see, here's where we start. We have multiple vehicles there, but we're looking just at the SRP area one, and kind of scroll out and see what happens because we've changed the SRP area, you can kind of see where the sun is at. And so seems somewhat consistent. If we have a much higher SRP area, that force is going to potentially move us away from the target vehicle and in this sort of way. And so let's go ahead and turn this animation speed up a little bit, give it a play there, and kind of zoom in, maybe bump it up even a little bit more. And okay, there we go. So we're away. And so as we introduce these differential forces through our update parameters, then we're going to see relative motion start to be induced, and the vehicle moves away from the target vehicle. And so that's what the update spacecraft parameters sequence does. And this is actually our last sequence that you can find in the RPO configuration folder. So that's going to conclude that set of sequences. So, all right, thanks for tuning in.